Many of you will have heard of Candace Owens, a US political and social commentator. Many of you will have seen her over the years and even agreed with some of her commentary. But if you were watching the Bolt Report last night, you'd also know she seems to have gone troppo. She's crossed the line. Andrew showed some of her wild, offensive and, frankly, absurd statements. Owens is heading to Australia for a series of events later this year, with people paying $100 a pop and even up to $1,500 to see her speak. And some groups, including Jewish groups and the Coalition, are calling on the government to ban her, to deny her a visa to Australia. Now, I'm not much into banning people just for what they say, but let me explain why the Albanese government's weakness on real hate speech, the hate speech behind terrorism, surely means they can't even consider denying her a visa. Let's go back a bit with Owens. She became pretty prominent 4 or 5 years ago, and I've got to say she impressed a lot of people, including me, as a strong voice pointing out the folly and dangers of the US Black Lives Matter protests and the defund the police lobby. She even joined Kanye West in sporting a White Lives Matter T-shirt at a fashion event.
We put on a T-shirt to actually do something that was inclusive, to say, actually, white Americans, you are allowed to be a part of this too, because literally all lives matter. And in fact, no lives have been mattering. Black Americans are suffering as a result because of Black Lives Matter. We know that their neighborhoods have been rioted in inner city communities, and the businesses are moving out of there. The result of Black Lives Matter has been white supremacy, assuming that Black Americans were stupid and emotional and would loot and riot their own communities to fulfill a false narrative about policing. And so we got to say all of that by wearing one T-shirt.
OK, that was good, Candace. A strong, sensible voice calling out the extremes of the woke left. But from there, she went a long way down the anti-vaxxer wormhole. And as you know, I know the problems with the vaccines and I've been against mandates. But there's a difference between that and coming up with some of the wild conspiracy theories that Owens was spouting. And over time, she seems to have become increasingly disconnected from reality, so that we now get this sort of craziness.
I'm waking people up to the fact that pedophiles are in power. Yes. They are literally in power. And that is intentional because then they can be controlled while they are in power. And they are also exhibiting signs of a psychopathology that lets them know that they will do harm to the masses and feel nothing because they were themselves, many of them, raped when they were children. Yep. It's not a coincidence that Justin Trudeau is gay. Obama, gay. Zelensky, gay. Emmanuel Macron, gay and married to a trans man who molested him when he was a child.
Dear, oh dear. And it gets even worse. Owens has made a range of comments that are anti-Semitic, bizarre and inflammatory comments about Jews and Israel.
Catholics and Christians were going missing on Passover, and then they would find bodies, across Europe, and they were able to trace them back to Jews. Blood libel. There weren't Jews, These were Frankists. Unless the nation of Israel may have been established by some Frankists.
Oh boy, hence the calls by Jewish groups to ban her from coming to Australia. But how could this government ban her? I mean, this is a government that tells us Hamas supporters can come into Australia direct from Gaza.
If it's just rhetorical support and they don't have an ideology or support for a violent extremism ideology, then that's not a problem.
And this is a government that's seen the slaughter of innocents celebrated on our streets immediately after the October the 7th atrocity. And this government has seen Jew hatred preached by religious leaders.
To the invading Jews we say, by Allah, the day you will be kicked out of Palestine is coming. The trees will speak, the stone will speak, and they'll say, O Muslim, O believer, there is a Yahudi behind me, come and kill him.
Yep, it's seen all that and it's done nothing. Nothing. No bans, no visas revoked, and no prosecutions launched. So given this pathetic showing against true hate preaching and people supporting vile Islamist terrorist organisations, how can the government even contemplate banning one American woman promoting a range of nutty and even offensive conspiracy theories?